Jungkook's eyes fluttered open, and a gentle smile played on his lips. As he watched Wine sleeping peacefully in his strong arms, he brushed a strand of hair from her hair, then leaned in to place a kiss on her forehead. Jungkook, good morning, my love. Wine stirred, her eyes meeting his with a sleepy yet affectionate gaze. Wine, morning. This is my favorite way to wake up. She smiled and nuzzled her nose against his neck. Jungkook, mine too. He pressed a tender kiss to her forehead, savoring the intimate moment before reluctantly releasing her from their embrace. Jungkook, come on, I have some time. I'll drop you off to college myself. As Wine stretched and sat up, Jungkook reached for her hand, placing a lingering kiss on her palm. Jungkook, I think I could stay in bed with you all day. Wine, as tempting as that sounds, I have important classes. Jungkook and Wine shared a leisurely morning routine, stealing glances and exchanging kisses all the while they tased each other. Jungkook couldn't resist trailing his fingers along Wine's back as she changed, a silent promise of protection and affection. Jungkook, you're the most beautiful sight in the morning light. Wine blushed, feeling the warmth of his gaze. Wine, stop it, or we'll never make it out of the door. And mister, you're cheesy. She teased and ran away. Jungkook ran after her. It took him 3 strides to finish the distance between them. Grabbing her wrist, he pinned her against the wall. His one hand on the wall above her head, and before she knew, he was tracing a red flower down her cheek. A rose. She felt shivers down her spine. He traced it down her cheek, her neck, and then left it in the strap of her dress, before disappearing in the washroom. She took a deep breath. Oh God, he knew how to take her breath away. Later on, as they got ready and had breakfast together, prepared by Jungkook, he dropped her off to college before leaving to his office. Later at night, Jungkook returned home holding a bag, which had Vine's favorite meal. He decided to surprise her with it, expecting a hyper and cheerful response in return, like always. He entered the room and found Vine on the couch half asleep, in her sitting position. It was almost weird to see her wearing long sleeves, even in the warmth of their shared bedroom. For as long as he knew, she preferred easy and revealing clothes in home, as they were more comfortable, according to her. He placed the bag on the table and took a seat beside her, placing a hand on her forehead to check if she had temperature. Jungkook, hey, love, what's on your mind? Vine opened her eyes and looked up, attempting to smile, but the pain in her eyes couldn't be hidden. Vine, oh, you're back. It's nothing, just a little tired. His eyes narrowing slightly as he noticed the hesitation in her voice. Gently, he took her hands. Jungkook, was it a lot of work? She nodded and he rubbed circles on her hand. Jungkook, see, I brought you your favorite meal. Vine reflected a tired smile and sat up, extending her hands to grab the bag. Jungkook was concerned at this point, but his concern took a whole new form when he saw scars on her wrists as her sleeves moved up. Jungkook, what happened here? Vine, oh, you didn't see them before? I got rashes during shower. The water was too hot, I think. Jungkook, that looks more of a scar than a rash. Vine, what is it? Vine, baby, seriously, it was 2 days ago. I thought you saw them already. She tried to avoid his gaze, taking the food out of the bag. Jungkook grabbed her wrist. He told her gentle yet firm as he turned her towards him, so her whole attention was on him now. Jungkook's expression turned serious as he lifted her chin, forcing her to meet his gaze. Jungkook, I know every inch of that body, and I know for a fact that Scar wasn't here before. Vine hesitated for a moment before a tear rolled down her cheek. Vine, it's just some people at college. Jungkook's eyes hardened, his protective instincts kicking in. Jungkook, people hurting you? Why didn't you tell me? Vine, I didn't want you to worry. You have so much on your plate with work. Jungkook cupped her cheeks and looked right in her eyes. His moves were gentle, but there was this fire inside of him, killing him to burn her bullies within that fire. Jungkook, your well being is my priority, Vine. Always. He kissed away her tears, then proceeded to kiss each bruise on her arms, a silent vow to shield her from any harm. Jungkook held her close to him. All she could see was love and concern for her. He hid his dying need to murder her bullies well. Jungkook, you don't have to face this alone. I'm here for you, no matter what. Some work can never replace that. As Vine nestled into his embrace, feeling the warmth of his love and protection, she realized that, in Jungkook, she had a partner who would go to any lengths to keep her safe. She felt his warmth and protection engulfing her as she closed her eyes. The two had dinner afterwards. Jungkook warmed up the meal himself and fed her with his own hands. All the while, he made sure she knew he was always there for her, no matter what situation they were in. the days that followed, Jungkook couldn't shake the concern for Wine from his mind. Determined to uncover the source of her pain, he discreetly investigated using his resources to gather information. Later one evening, he discovered the identity of the bullies tormenting his beloved. The next day, Jungkook, confronted by bullies, he found them lingering near the college premises. Jungkook's step was deliberate, his expression steely as he approached. Sam, who are you? In a swift motion, Jungkook's hand gripped the collar, his strength evident. He leaned in, his gaze digging holes. Jungkook, note it down. If you ever dare to come after Ryan again, or even appear in front of her, you'll cry for the rest of your life. Jungkook took Sam in a chokehold, pinning him against the wall. The boy tried to set free, but his strength was nothing in front of the huge man. The more time passed, the more he started to lose his breath. Jungkook, I won't tolerate anyone hurting her. Consider this your only warning. The bullies, now pale and visibly shaken, nodded frantically. Jungkook released his hold, letting them stumble backward. Jungkook, if I ever hear about any harm coming to her again, you'll face the consequences far beyond a warning. For now, rot behind the bars. He stepped back and the police officers surrounded the area, taking two boys and one girl in their custody under the case of abuse. All of them started crying and started to beg for forgiveness, but Jungkook was having none of it. All he wanted was them to suffer. How badly he wanted to make them vanish from the face of this planet. But he couldn't do that. Wine would never like that. Later that night, Jungkook returned home, his expression softer, as he found Wine waiting for him. She looked up, curious and concerned. Wine, what happened? Jungkook, just took care of some unfinished business. You don't need to worry anymore. He pulled her into a reassuring embrace, flushed against her, hand wrapped around her wrist and waist. Jungkook presented Wine with a small, elegantly wrapped box. She tucked her hair behind her ear and held the box. Jungkook, open it. She unwrapped the gift to reveal a delicate bracelet with intricate details. Wine, it's beautiful. Jungkook took the bracelet and gently placed it on her wrist, fastening it with care. Jungkook, it's a reminder that you are never alone and you are always protected. Jungkook kissed the inside of her wrist, sealing the promise with a tender gesture. Jungkook, wear it always, my queen. She nodded and he kissed her forehead before the two embraced each other, lost in the moment and in each other. things they were blessed with.